I want to go back to 1984 and how you got or how the band got started. Give me
Okay,
a bunch of ragtag guys got together and just
sure.
started jamming. And how did it get started?
Well, my best buddy Bubba Carter and his brother Richard was in it, and Badger, as you know, was my four-piece band that we traveled ever high school prom in the 2 or 3 state area, and me making guard drill on the weekend and working out of town with my job, and it just, boy, we just stayed real busy, but we did it for a long time because Harley Vincent booked us then, and he's our bass player. Well, we had a booking agent in Tulsa, Fayetteville, and Little Rock, and they kept us pretty busy. So I said, guys, I got to take a break, and we all needed a break. I went and told my mother, God rest her soul. I said, well, Mom, but I said, Bubba come got me, and he wants me to play in this. He said, oh, yeah. And I said, yeah, and you won't never guess what the name is, Mom. It's Mr. Cabbagehead and the Screaming Radishes. She said, Ricky, you'll never get a job with a name like that. So, if I have any talent, I owe it to Mom, I guess. But 40 years later, we play as much as we want to play, and we play festivals and stuff like that, and wedding receptions and special parties and stuff. This year, December, we played for the Builders Association, and Chuck Fawcett and the Realtors. We played for them, 2 big parties. That stuff is kind of slowed down as far as the virus, of course, but then alcohol liability was a lot of it too. And of course, that's okay with me now, but I got to keep those younger guys going because it supplements their income.
It's interesting as you talk about the original band members, and you still have some original, but how many different members have there been in and out over the 40 years?
Well, Lynn Wasson, when she worked for E. Fort Smith and her boss, which her, the one that started the magazine, they Bubba and Tommy Cunningham were going to do an article that we were going to retire or something, and then the calls just come in. Well, I played with those guys, and so they had a page and a half of people that called in, and so I said, well, that's not going to be a workable deal, because I was having to travel more in my job and stuff. So we didn't do that. Tommy Cunningham, Rick Tender, and Bubba Carter and Richard, and we just kept mogating on. But Daren, as you know, you've been with us that long too. People like this old music that we play with this horn section. I mean, they like hearing My Girl and James Brown and Leonard Skinner and just a Chicago and a lot of other musicians that are probably a lot more talented than we are rag us out for not changing the list as much, but people want to hear that music we play, and that's the audience. I mean, we've got a broad list. We'd never be able to play all of the stuff that we have learned and worked up over the years, but we try to tailor that. We have so much to whatever issue or function that we're playing, and we tailor our list to that. Just like high school, we played my Northside high school reunion, and then we're playing Jimmy's, Atchison, and Harley Vincent's reunion coming up at Northside. They're 51st, I think, and we'll be playing that. So we have fun because we play. All those people know us, and George McGill has been with us probably as long as you have too. And he, we have a good time playing the mayor's 4th of July party, and we have a lot of people that see us play the 4th of July deal for the mayor that don't go to these special events. They go there and they like to see us because they know consistently that we've been there for years, as you and Gary Elmore were, and that stuff like that makes it good for people to see us.
It's interesting when you talk about playing some of the old music that people want to hear now. How many times have you gone to an event and there's a young person in the crowd or young people in the crowd that have never heard this music before, all of a sudden become a huge fan of that music?
Oh, Daren, I'm telling you, I went to the Cleaners one time after we played the fair, and there was a young pretty girl in there, and she goes, "Man, we had an after action report after the fair, and they asked us what they said. Well, next year you better get them cabbage guys back, you know." And so I said, "Well, that's nice of you to say. I appreciate that." I said, "Can I ask how old you are?" And she goes, "I'm 24, and my friends are that." Well, that when we attract age of that age group, we're doing something right, because all the songs that we play just about are played behind every uh, TV commercial is in your business. You know, you take a lot of those songs, we play them, but the younger people only hear a snippet of it. But then when we show up to play, we play the whole song.
What do you think is the secret behind lasting 40 years, not only in the music business, but in this area?
I'll tell you, Daren, I'll tell you what it is. It's for us not killing each other. You know, I mean, you know, thing about it, we grew up together and we've been friends forever. We'd agree to disagree, shake hands, and go on down the road, and that's how come we kind of roll with the punches. And we, you know, you got 8 or 9 people, and they've all got different opinions about things. Well, we keep an open mind, and we keep Mike Lenzini in his spot, and I think that's part of our success. You know, bless his heart. I like, you know, Mike Lenzini, Steve Clark, Josh Heist, Alfie Barter, Harley Vincent, Jimmy Atchison. Um, they always, I leave always somebody out. McMurtry plays keyboards, and we just, all of us, we all get along, and that we've always run it as a business, and we're a member of the Arkansas Arts Council, Arts on Tour, and if the charity is a 501c3, they are eligible for some grant money, and we did that years ago. Bubba did, because everybody wants a charity. They want you to play for free, you know. Well, we like to do our part, but it got to be a bit much. So then Bubba got us involved, and now the charities, anybody can have us, and they can apply for the grant money, and we can even play for less, you know. And it's just a good deal, and the workings of the deal with Bubba Carter and Rick Tender, Tommy Cunningham, we all, you know, I think somebody told Tommy one time, they said, or Bubba, they said, well, you guys maybe individually aren't that good, but together as a team, y'all fit like a puzzle, and you're good as a team. Well, that's a big compliment, because you know, if you're playing football or basketball or playing in a band our size, and we have that charisma and make it work when we hit the stage, we're doing something right for 40 years, because something has to be to that, Daren, because you've been in this field a long time too.
What's the future now of the band? We're not getting any younger, that's for sure.
What we have done in the past, and Bubba was a big part, is that we like to get young people involved. We had a horn player or two from Kimmons Junior High, and we invited them to play on stage. They thought that was the grandest thing, Daren, is to play with a big band like us. And then Tommy's got a daughter, Zoe. She sang with us at the last benefit we did, and she's really talented. She really is. And we like to get young people like that involved in the music, because that was for the Girls and Boys Club. And it's to go for their music ministry and buy instruments for the kids to learn more about music. But we like to get the young folks involved with us. We're not prima donnas. We're not, you know, some bands wouldn't ever have you come up and set in with them, because they would think you're not good enough. You know, well, not with the Cabbageheads. It's vegetable related rock for a healthier lifestyle.
That's the greatest ever. Ricky, thank you so much. Cheers to 40 years. You guys sound as good as always, and sure appreciate your time.
Well, Daren, we appreciate you being our friend, and George McGill all these years. And we've been really, really blessed, and we have a good time doing what we're doing. And if we can go a little ways longer, you know, I'm all for that.